And that is a great segue to our fill in the blank question that we ask every time on the Profitable Christian Business. So, what is one biblical principle every entrepreneur should live by?
It's actually something that I learned from Matthew Walker. So it was a couple months. I started getting a little bit successful in Kirby, and I asked him, and it's just this is one that just keeps hitting me. And it actually came up recently in my most recent brush with death during my cancer battle. Um, I lost like 7 pounds in 4 hours on this last roundabout, and I was completely dehydrated. I was dying. And the thing I kept saying in my delusional state was 619. Just remember 619. I just kept remembering my friend Matt, and it was just this powerful thing. It's Matthew 619. Do not store up for yourself treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy and thieves can break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and thieves do not steal, and the moths and rust do not destroy, and thieves do not steal. Right. Um, and I'd asked him, why did you choose, like, out of anybody, all the people who've been working for you for years, all the people that you've known, why did you choose me to mentor me and just out of nowhere? And he says, there was just something about you, and we keep what we have by giving it away. And and I truly believe, and I see it more every single day, and it's become a foundational belief in me, is we keep what we have by giving it away. And Matthew 619 reminds me of that. And there's no coincidences in life. And I truly believe that he was sent from God, because Matthew became my best friend. I was the best man at his wedding. We've been through so many things together. And he's from San Diego. And the area code for San Diego, for people who don't know, is 619.
Hmm.
And it's like that full circle. So Matthew 619 is one of those that I believe is if you want to be successful, don't hoard everything. You have to spread your gift. You have to spread your vision in order to be able to uplift people. And that's going to help build your wealth in heaven. God will bless you. God will bless you here on earth, and he'll
Amen.
let you have the
Amen.
blessings and enjoy things on this earth and not covet them.
So good. Yes. You alluded to it a little bit, so I want to go there. Your cancer battle. So we talked before this about the journey that you went through and how it shaped your faith and how it strengthened your faith. Can you kind of dive into um, your life before that diagnosis and how going through that transformed you?
Yeah. Um, so are you familiar at all with how the solar industry has been over the last couple of months? That's where I spent a lot of my
Just a
career after
little.
Kirby. Just a little, right? It's gone major
Mm-hmm.
downhill. So before that, it was
Mm-hmm.
just the Wild West, no compliance, no anything, right? So I started in solar in 2012, and I built my solar company. I started my solar company in 2016. And that company started when I had a broken arm, broken leg, torn out eyeball, negative $2,000 on my checking account. I've shared the story on multiple podcasts, um, because it is probably my biggest business success I ever had. And it was 100% from God, right? My ex tried to kill me. I just became a full time single dad, and I'm living on my mom's couch again at 30 years old. I'm like, what am I going to do? Right? Where am I going to go? Um, and I just heard God say, go to work. Like, I have this plan for you. Go do your thing. And at that time, I truly believed that there was 5 years of viability left in the solar industry. So I got up every day and I walked on a broken leg it was 7 miles to the territory I was going to knock. For anybody from the Tucson area, you'll know, like, the Auto Mall area up to like Ina and Thornydale. So it was not an easy hike. And then I knocked from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I went back to Kirby Mindset, and I made $250,000 that month. And then I built my company to 27 territories before I exited in 2020. And during the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, we started seeing all the virtual stuff that was happening, right? So we started seeing salespeople from all over the country just not knowing what the laws are and the rules. And I decided I wanted to move into compliance. I built a solar sales licensure platform that rivaled the real estate industry and fintech. And I kind of modeled it after that. And I worked with multiple state and federal legislators. I worked on 10 laws. I worked with multiple federal agencies and governmental agencies for years, during the last 5 years. And we started building a lot of success. And then I struck this deal where we were able to pull out. all kinds of storefronts inside of Walmart. We were going to put solar stores inside of those. And we got a
Mm,
ton of investment. Manufacturers were backing us. And God bless that thing very, very quickly. In 90 days, we were opening 28 stores. And I remember I saw a lot of things happening, but there were a lot of questions about why things were happening. And it was the scariest prayer I've ever prayed to this day. And I still pray it all the time now because a lot of really crazy things happen very quickly and snowballed. And that's where the cancer comes in. Lord, if it's from you and for me, make it be and make it known. And if it's not from you and not for me, take it away without question. And I got baptized again on August 1st. 3 days later, one of the major finance companies files bankruptcy. 5 days after that, on my birthday on August 8th, I get diagnosed with neuroendocrine stomach cancer. A couple days later, one of the business partners steals all the money. And then we just go through the snowball over the last year of just financial insanity and ruin and losing everything that I, had built over over a decade of just blood, sweat, and tears. And that was my isolation moment to remind me that I don't need anybody else. I just need him.
amen. Yeah. So you referenced the verse, storing up treasures in heaven rather than storing up your treasures here. I think there's a lot to be said in that. Like, did you start to, when you're starting to be successful, did your identity start to take on your possessions and who you were as an entrepreneur?
Oh
And
yeah, yeah,
I'm guessing like through the cancer transformation, through not cancer transformation, but cancer journey, um, God shifted all that.
I don't know. Anybody who knows me knows that I've been into fitness my entire life. Like I'm not in bad shape now, but I'm not in what I was a year ago. I was 240 pounds of 14% body fat, bodybuilding, powerlifting my entire life. And that with driving the cool cars and going on the vacations and staying in the fancy hotels, and that was my identity. That's who I was. And I really had to learn eh, who I was truly. Um, that and I remember it was a really big issue in the house because I didn't know why my wife loved me at that point. No matter how many times she told
Mm,
me, my self-worth wasn't there anymore, right? Because my bank account was drained, my business was gone. And it's the book of Job, right? And I did all
hmm
these things, and I went broke when the COVID stuff was happening to make sure my employees were paid, and I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. And why isn't this happening? And it was, you don't get into heaven by your good deeds, right? So yeah,
That's right.
it definitely was tied to all of my possessions and status.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting things that I want to bring up from your story, and that is you were at negative when right before you found all this success, right? I think you said you were sleeping
Yeah.
on a couch, you were negative bank account. So I think there's a message in there for Christian entrepreneurs watching this that they may be in a similar situation where they're just starting. They still have that dream. They have what God is feel like they placed on their hearts, right, to go and build something, but they don't have the resources. They don't have anything. So can you speak into that a little bit for anybody that's watching?
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's going to be one of the most terrifying things in the entire world to do, but it's the most lucrative thing that you could possibly do, and not financially, but personally. And you could probably speak to the same thing because you're an
Hmm
entrepreneur. You know this, right? And you can
Yep.
say if I'm lying.
You proceed in faith.
You proceed in faith, right? And one of the things we learned in sales is the fear of loss is greater than the ability to gain, right?
Hmm
And a lot of entrepreneurs when they're starting out, either and I see it's a lot of entrepreneurs are later in life and they've already had a career or they have a house and they have their family and their cars and they have a lot to lose. And the fear of losing that holds them back from following the path that God led them on. So it really is a leap of faith. It is to jump off of something that you know is a guaranteed paycheck. And we used to call it our F it moment. My wife went through this as well. She had a job in HR when we met, and she always wanted to be a realtor. And she had to have that moment where it was just like, all right, I can't do this anymore, and just dove straight into real estate. And she's incredible. Average time on market was like 10 days. That's what she does. And now she's doing luxury listings, and she's absolutely incredible at what she does.
Thanks for checking out the Profitable Christian Business Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.